Hey everyone, I'm gonna quickly change my camera and then we can get this started. Give me a second. All right, let's go. By the way, have you seen this shirt? Thanks to IOMX who actually helped me create or helped actually get this shirt. But yeah, this is amazing. I like it. Okay, so 81 out of 84 or 81 out of 1 out of 84 are failing for us. So I'm currently in the process of upgrading the Angular Cookbook to the latest version of Angular and which is version 17. So we're going to do that. I'm going to answer your questions about JavaScript, blah blah blah, anything as such. But yeah, feel free to ask questions. Hey Mohsin, how's it going? How are you doing today? So I can see one of the projects failed, and this was ng just global mocks, which is running for production, but it couldn't find globals.css. Let's see. I think I moved it away from globals.css to something else, maybe. Let's see. So code with SN, packages, ng cookbook recipe, source, assets. I think I've moved it. Start. No, I do have slides, global.css. Why did it not find it? Let's try to build this once again for ourselves. So npm or npx run or npx nx run build for this one, and we'll see how it goes. How are you doing, Mohsin? What are you working on these days? Nx build. Let's see. What time is it? Is okay? It's about 5. So now this builds. Should I run this again? Was this from the cache then? Maybe this was from the cache. We'll see. I'll also turn on the light. There we go. All right. So all the 48 projects are now being built. That's good. Good stuff. So I don't have to worry about how many of these are working and how many of them are not working. Cool, cool, cool. So all the projects for the build are working. Now I need to see one thing, and that is why don't I have, if I go to start and if I do the same thing, I should have one project failing. But why do I have 85 projects in here or 84 projects in here, but I have 85 in start? So I have missed something that I forgot to copy paste, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But how is everyone doing? Are you good? Screen round, split. How's everyone doing? Have you tried the latest version of Angular, or are you working on something related to React or Vue.js, or what are you working on these days? I'm gonna let it finish. For root, blah blah blah. But I've updated like all the versions, but I do need to see the, what do you call it, the latest version of Angular with my last two chapters. Oh, my camera died. I need to change the camera's battery. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's see. Let's also zoom in a bit so we can see more information. Now this doesn't look good. Zoom out. By the way, if you have any questions, you can put that in the chat. And if you have questions about JavaScript, concepts about React or Angular, you can ask those questions in this stream. But my main target would be just to make sure that everything is up to date for my book's launch. If I go to Cookbook, do you see that blurred? Okay, that's good. So then I can work on the code in that manner, but we'll see. All right. I also forgot my glasses somewhere, so I'm gonna bring back my glasses as well. Give me one quick second, but I also need to know when is Maghrib, or when does the time of Maghrib end. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to go to pray Maghrib, and then I'm gonna come back and then continue from there. So I'm gonna come back. So we'll take about 10 minutes break. Uh, let's see. So I've put Maghrib break in the chat. Maghrib break. Put it here. So hopefully I'll be back in 10 minutes. All right. Let's see. Scams. All right, we're going to continue now. Thank you for waiting. And let's jump to. I'm going to bring my desk a bit more up. Okay. So this ran for 85 projects. The only one that should fail is the Webpack Bundle Analyzer one, which is perfect. So no other ones are failing. Awesome, awesome. Let's run a couple of them. So npm run serve, npm run serve. Let's pick one. Let's pick a nice one. Maybe ng cdk stepper final. So we're gonna just make sure that all of the recipes of Angular Cookbook are working fine. And once they are, then we're good. So this one, let's put Ahsan here. Let's pick 5 through 5, 4. Come on, 1, 6. Am I gonna be able to guess or not? It's like 3. Oh, there we go. You rock, Ahsan, you get 50 points. Awesome. So now I can go to the next one and I can see the points. The header is there. If I click this link also works. Super cool. So I think in terms of upgrading to Angular, this works. So we don't need to worry about anything as such. So then I can start working on the Angular Cookbook chapter 12. But feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I'm gonna also add a ask your questions in the chat here as well. So let's say we can say something like um uh, we don't really need to do that. Let's not do it. The drop game. Let's see. Cancel. Cancel. Is the drop game alive? Let's have a quick look at the drop game. So chat, restream.io, chat. Let's see. Now also open the extension. Restream mate. Let's refresh this guy. And Yasser Mughal. Hey Yasser, how's it going? Are you good? And if you type drop in the chat, this should bring us the rockets. So give it a try. You can type drop in the chat, and this will essentially initiate a rocket from the top. And I'm also gonna update the ask your questions as well. Here, drop ng cookbook in the chat. We can put it right here. And we can also say type. Awesome. Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for asking. I should probably put it right here, and then we should be we should be good. You need to say a small drop. If you put a capital drop, then that doesn't work. You need to put a small one there. But I'm doing well. I'm gonna start the focus session. So we have done one out of, I mean, we have done more than one, but I'm still gonna say one out of the other one. But let's start another focus session. So we're gonna be looking into upgrading the rest of the recipe chapters. And I need to just make sure that all the code that I'm trying to use in the recipes is using the new Angular feature, basically. So now if I go to, let's say, apps 13 or 12, and then we have basically a bunch of things including the change detector. So in here we do have components with user card. Maybe we should be using, I mean, I'm a bit skeptical of using the new features at the moment, but I'm still gonna try to do that. We'll see how that goes. So let's say app component has the router, then it has the code here, then the router outlet, and I think then we have the users page. So in here we're using the ngIf user else loader, right? So we're gonna change this to the Angular version 17 code, so we don't really need the app loader. So what we are going to do is we're gonna introduce the if condition, and we're going to say if user, then we have some code, and then we have else, where we want to put the loader in. So I'm gonna be putting the loader in here, and I'm gonna also double check that my Angular language service is up to date. So reload required. Okay, I can do reload required. So reload required. I'm gonna save. All right. I'm not gonna save it at the moment. Let's put it back, and then once we have reloaded, then we can do it. So I'm gonna reload, and now we should have even the latest one as well. Strict templates, blah blah blah. And then do we have any other things that we need to reload? I would assume no. So then I can start with the, so if, all right, now you can see the syntax as well, that it's highlighting after the Angular language service update. So this is good. And now I can put an else condition here as well. And this is all new Angular 17. So if we are doing this, then we should have some code there. Else I'm gonna just put loader inside. So I'm moving away from the if ngIf block to the other one. So then I can say if we have a user, then we basically need to render this div, and this goes essentially inside this if block, and I don't even need the loader anymore, which is amazing. And I'm gonna double check that this still works. Am I using start apps? Yes, I'm using a start app. So npm run serve ng cd ref. Okay, I have a question. How do you get started in PHP code? Sorry, how to get started in a PHP code developer when I'm trying to learn React and JavaScript? I can I can't be concentrate. Any tip? So if I understand correctly, you're trying to use both, or you're trying to learn both React and JavaScript, and you also want to learn PHP. Is that true? Can you type yes in the chat? Oh, Oh, we have user component doing something as well. Start app cdref app user. Oh, okay. Then we have this as well. So we can also then. Oh, okay. So then I don't need the ng container, and I can go here and say if similar users, then we use this, else we show the loader, and this goes away. In this case, I'm not really sure if I would be using um, ng template for just for the sake of this, because I don't want to make this too complex. But I think this is fine. So now if I refresh, I should still be able to get the users, change everything, and whatnot. But I can focus on other languages. Why do you want to focus on other languages? That's a question. Mohammed Musa, you need to use small drop, otherwise it doesn't work. You need to use exclamation small drop. Maybe I can update it to say also allow capital drops as well, but you need to say small drop. I think the problem is because of the restream chat, right? Because it shows it to you in a weird way. Maybe I can change it. Give me 1 second. Appearance, not the appearance, but embedded stream. Fortnite blue, message alignment top. I think we can use something different. Comic, 8-bit, 8-bit compact. Let's see, PUBG. Lolbox, R6, Overwatched. Um, hmm, maybe use this one. Let's see. I'm gonna use this one now, and let me refresh the chat stream. So Yasir, question: why do you want to focus on the other languages? How many languages are you trying to learn at the same time? I'm gonna refresh the chat, but I'm gonna keep this page open so I can see your messages as well. So, but I'm gonna refresh the chat. Give me 1 second, so I can get the new overlay. Cool. Now I think this is much better. Hello, Hassan. Why don't you create a full-fledged series on Angular framework like you have created proper web development series on HTML? Says JavaScript. Afterwards, you should have made series on Angular, so one will enhance your skills and be job ready in some aspect. Even though paying for that will make sense to the learners. Yeah, I know. The thing is, I cannot do a lot of things at the same time, and right now I'm focusing on my book. So I need to finish my book as soon as possible. So for the web development series, I took some time to actually create that, but um, that also then delayed some of my other plans, and I don't have the capacity to create Angular full-fledged courses at the moment. However, if you want to grow your skills, I do have other videos that are really good as well that you can take inspiration from. For example, if you go to the page, we have one video that is this one, learn full stack. And this one we actually go through a really cool application that we start from the beginning. We build it with database, with it's not wireframing, but also as you can see here, it we also discuss about like the concept of breaking things down. So like images, sort of explaining why do we want to make certain decisions. So this is really good. So even though I don't have something that starts from scratch for Angular and goes through like the whole process, there are still good videos that you can look at. And maybe in the future I will create some of those. So for sure. Um, you're learning React and Node. So if you're learning React and Node, Yasir, I would suggest to focus on one thing at a time. If you're learning 5 things at the same time, you're not going to be really good at all of them, if that makes sense. Yasser says basically PHP is a little bit slower to make a web application. It depends. When you're new to something, it always feels slower. It might not be really slower, to be honest. So things may seem slower when you start them for the first time. But yeah, it takes a bit of time and effort to actually, build something out of it. So yeah, I can't really say PHP is slower to learn. But yeah, it depends how much time you have given to it, to be honest. Well, I'm currently confused with one stack. Which one? I'm confused within one stack to go for like mean or MERN. What will you recommend? Maybe I know the answer is mean stack probably. The answer is it depends. You try out both things and you see what you like more. I worked with both MERN stack and mean stack both. I like Angular much more than React for specific reasons, and the reasons are that I've worked with Angular for 10 years and I've worked with React for 6 years now, and I've found that when it comes to Angular, it's really easy to migrate to different projects or to onboard someone else to your project because the mindset of how you code is very similar. Whereas React, I've seen teams with React where everyone codes differently. So it's really hard to manage, or people are using different technologies, plugins all the time. So it becomes really, really tough, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Alrighty, so this is the book, the cookbook that I'm working on, and I do need to update the code base, and also the text as well to some extent. So I'm gonna look into both updating the cookbook and the code for both of this. So let's see if we can shrink this down a bit. Let's say go there, come here. Let's bring it to this level maybe, right? And then I can have this guy also coming here to this, somewhat like this, and I can remove this guy as well. But then I have my book, so I can bring this guy to this side. Yay, awesome. And I can have my book right there. So I hope you got some answer to your question. All right, let's see. Shared. By the way, I appreciate your effort and the way you explained the concepts of JS. Phenomenal. Looking forward to learn from you. That Angular thing might be we see that coming in near future. Yeah, absolutely. If you're interested in Angular, I would highly suggest to go to angular.dev. Change it back. Thank you. Angular.dev. This is the new website of Angular, and it's really cool. It has good tutorials and a way to learn things really fast. So it has this embedded view that you can see. I'm gonna make my face a bit smaller. Give me one quick second. Seems too big. So in here, you can actually see the embedded container, and when you make changes to the container, then the application also updates. So it's really cool. It really helps you understand the concepts as well. For example, this one, there's a filter by city. So you can see you have app component, preview, console, terminal. You can see all the cool stuff going on here. So here it's coming with the home component, and you have, where's the home component though? If I go to the other one, this is hello world. So this says default. I could change this to, what was your name? Muhammad Musa. And if I change this, you can see automatically this changing. So it's a really good platform to actually learn. Go through the tutorials, and yeah, I think you'll really like it. ng serve example source, awesome. These are cool. So yeah, highly recommended. Angular.dev. I'm gonna share in the chat as well. So do look into that. Alrighty. So I'm gonna actually open my chapter or my two author book. So 11 is chapter 11 was done. By the way, I also have the Angular Cookbook website now. So ngcookbook.com. And if you are interested in the new version of Angular when it comes out, all you need to do is just go there, write your email, and then you will be added to a subscription list for free, and you'll get an email whenever the book comes out. So yeah, the first edition can be found here as well. It has about 46 ratings, saying 4.3 out of 5. So about half of the people said 5 star. 35% of the people says 4 star, and then about no one said 1 star, and some of the people said 2 star. So it's a really cool book, and the second edition is it's much better. I love it. I love the examples that I have in here. So absolutely amazing. Can I start Angular without knowing some knowledge of JavaScript? You need to have some knowledge of JavaScript. You can start learning Angular without JavaScript knowledge, but you will not be really good at Angular without knowing good JavaScript. Because the Angular or the Angular framework is built with TypeScript, which is basically a superset of JavaScript. So you need to know good JavaScript in order to be a good Angular developer. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Why does this look not correct? Okay, this was shortened. Okay, makes sense. I was like, why? What do you mean by template this? Okay, this is what you mean. Cool. Uh huh. Cool. I like it. Awesome. And if you can also get the Angular Cookbook, in which you learn a lot of things from the beginning. All right, chapter 12. Here we come. So I'm gonna take this call. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, mic was mute. So, what were you saying? Like, you worked in the industry for a while. I would like to hear some words of wisdom from you. Like, how one can secure at least a junior dev position in a company. Like, according to you, if one is applying for front end developer, what is the skill set one should have at least? Good question. Good question. Give me 1 second to answer that. By the way, those of you who are watching this on YouTube, make sure you can press the clip button. So this can be used for later on as well. So the question essentially is, where are you, Restream? So this one. I would like to hear some words of wisdom from you, like how one can secure at least a junior dev position in a company. Like, according to you, if one's applying for front end developer, what skills are that one should use? So the trend has changed quite a lot, and the trend has changed to a point where now companies look for something different. So previously, when I started, the people usually saw, all right, how much capable a particular person is, what what is their skill set, do they know about data structures or a bit of OOP, for example, and the skill set from the university were evaluated. Now in Pakistan, and I think even in the world, we are at a point where the expectations are much different. So what is expected from you now is that you have worked with some projects already. So you have created some projects from following some tutorials, so you have something to show. So you should have some projects on your GitHub. Once you have some of the projects on your GitHub, that acts like a portfolio for you, that essentially is a portfolio for you, and that stands you out from everyone else. Because the problem is, nobody, or not a lot of people, not a lot of juniors actually do this. So when you go to a company and you go with your portfolio, then it sort of stands you out from the others, if that makes sense. So if you're applying for front end skills, then you should have good knowledge of HTML, of course. What are the semantic tags? What are the HTML tags available? What are the web APIs available? For example, local storage, how do you work with that? You also should know small things like what is DOM, um, what is the difference between HTML4 versus 5, but then also CSS. So you should know Flexbox, Grid. You should know about, for example, CS positioning. If you go through my free web development course, we discuss all of this in brief, or in depth essentially, and that should put you in a good position in terms of at least concepts in your mind to do well in interviews. But apart from that, you need to create a lot of projects. So create as many projects as you can. Create a small calculator, create a small watch, create a small counter, create a small, I don't know, temperature converter, unit converter from, I don't know, seconds to milliseconds to nanoseconds to picoseconds and whatnot. So that is what you can do. Please share the link. If you're not aware of the link yet, I can share it with you. So it's on codewithahsan.dev. Not here. So if you go to courses, this is the course, Web Development Basics. This goes through a lot of concepts, including what we just discussed. So I'm going to share that in the chat right now. So all of you should get the link. So this goes through a couple of things I'm going to show you now. So for example, it goes through it goes through the HTML5, a lot of concepts about HTML5, like what are lists, images, form elements, input types, tables, blah blah blah. And then you also have CSS3. So we go through box model, we go through z-index, we have a lot of activities in the middle as well. So you actually practice a lot of the concept that you have already learned. For example, activity building a portfolio website. And then you have CSS Advanced, which includes Flexbox, Grid, animations, media queries for responsive web design. Then we go to JavaScript. We learn a lot of concept about JavaScript, but then we go to JavaScript Advanced as well. For example, things like callbacks, promises, async await, random user API list, and then finally we wrap this up. All of the things are absolutely free. All you need to do is just enroll into the program that is free. So you log in via your GitHub or your Google, as far as I remember, and then you get all the files as well. So it's free. Share with everyone else who you think is going to benefit from this as well. All right, looking at the questions further. Shayan Danish is asking, what do you do after learning Modern Stack? Right now, developing the project, so looking for potential opportunities. So what you're doing right now is okay. So you need to create a lot of projects. Once you learn a particular technology, use that in the projects and deploy those projects so you can show off those projects. For example, I know Angular really well. When I need to show someone some projects, I go to josephinesays.com. This is one of the projects that I built, and it's now in my portfolio. You can see Code with SN right here. Then, yeah, it's not really complicated, but it has some things, small things that are really really amazing. For example, you see this confetti happening behind, like the party popper, and then you have the ability to add more. You have the ability to add more quotations from someone as well. Then I can also share focusdoodle.app, which is one of my products as well. Then I can also go and say pulse checker is also one of my products that I've built recently. I have appflashback.com, which I built during a hackathon, so I can show that I have those skill sets and they are available to be seen online. So I have different websites or different projects that show off my skills. So once you learn a technology, you need to create a lot of projects. That is what basically strengthens your case when you're applying for a job. So I hope that makes sense. Already done with the web dev course for years, and now I feel confident regarding the concepts you taught. But I want to know, is it possible if one can get a job without having experience with a framework, or is it always mandatory to have good experience of any front end framework? Norbert Crystal, for sure. It's called focusdoodle.app. I can share the link. So this one. There is one thing that I'm working on right now, which is not perfect. It's I mean the feature is in beta. So right now you have the ability of sharing your clock with someone else, and I use it actually in my. Um, do I have it here? Let me move the chat a bit up, and then maybe add a. Where are you? No, you're not here. Give me 1 second. Studio mode, screen and round cam, Pomodoro clock, then cookbook. Put that here, and there we go. So here, if I get rid of the, so here you see that that's the same clock that you see right there on the overlay. And if I change the modes, for example, break, focus, you can see that happening on the overlay as well. So these two are not the same application. Obviously, one is running on my browser, the other is on the stream overlay, but they're in sync. And when I start, for example, my clock, it starts there as well. So it keeps a sync of what's really happening. But that feature is in beta. So my plan was to actually help the study streamers to share their clock with their audience, and then they can use that in their application or on their mobile phones, and then they would know when the streamer is about to go into break or about to focus again. So yeah, it's a cool app. But I have not updated it or worked on it for quite a while now. It's a really small application so far. But yeah, there you go. So coming back to the question, is it mandatory to have a good experience of any of the front end framework? I think now it is sort of mandatory because the information is available much more than before, and also companies have moved or switched to a mindset of having experienced developers even though they're coming as interns. So previously companies used to allow people come in who were not so experienced but had the potential, but now companies actually look for experienced engineers. So that is the reality. I'm going to quickly switch my camera's battery as it is about to die. But yeah, that's what it is. Hi, Aston, what do you think of the new Angular site? Personally, love it. The tutorial part will be a game changer. It's very fluid, especially for the new learners. Yeah, absolutely, I love it. I actually contributed to the new docs. There's one particular feature that I contributed to, so and that was a really a small one. I'm gonna. Where is it? Give me 1 second. Vertical cam. There you go. So I contributed to one tiny little feature, and that was in the docs. It was just like this. If I'm in the template page and if I go back, this one was not being highlighted. So this guy right here uh, was not highlighted. So I just fixed that. I can also see one more thing, that is this one. This is not really centered for some reason. So this one, I mean, the icon is not centered. It's not vertically centered. I don't know. It feels a bit weird. It's like, you see that it's not really centered, the icon. But then I think it depends. Margin top is 0.05 rem. If I don't do this, then is it applied from somewhere else? It is applied from here. And if I don't do that, then is it applied from anywhere else? Maybe if I could. Okay, I'm not gonna play around with this one. This needs a proper solution maybe. But yeah, I hope you got the answer. It's an amazing site. Yes. I mean, the homepage is phenomenal. Like, I really love this. Yay! Loved by millions. Built for everyone. And then you get the playground. I like it. You currently have more than 3 tabs open running Angular tutorials or playground. This may result in an out of memory error. I understand. Do I have it so? Maybe I have it opened in multiple. Anyways. All right. So how about we actually start focusing as well? I'm gonna close this tab. Close this one as well. And let's go and update the code base with some recent changes that Angular has brought in. I'm gonna close this one. And so one of the things that I just did was upgrading or removing the ngIf and using the new control flow. This is what happens when we run the. Give me 1 second. This is the ngcd ref, right? So let's see if I come here. And this is similar user. So this is what we should be seeing. If I go to a particular page like this one, then I should also be able to see similar user. So if I refresh now, you see there's a loading that happens here. And then while the similar users are being loaded, we also have a loader right there as well. Cool. For the users page, do we have the same thing here? So yeah, I'm going to update this to the new control flow as well. So instead of using the ng template and app loader, I'm just going to use a simple. Oh, but I'm also not updating the for loop as well. I should probably use the for loop as well. So let users of similar users. So inside here, let's use a for loop. Here we should be able to say for user of users or similar users. And then we should have this guy coming in. Then I don't need actually this. What have I made a mistake of? Is it this? No, failed to compile. It says for loop must have, obviously track. And then track should be user.id. Or is it user.login.uid? I think it doesn't exist on it. Of course it doesn't. Let's see what kind of data are we dealing with. So iUser has UUID right there. Okay, so then I just need to put the user.uuid. But do you see how cool this is? That with now with Angular you get the exact errors, so you know what to fix, and I really like it. Okay, so I'm on the user page. I can still see the for loop and the users as well. If I remove all of this, then I should not be able to see any similar users that I don't see. But if I put this back, then I'm able to see that. That's cool. Awesome. So I have a much nicer UI right now. Um, cool. The only thing that I'm gonna struggle right now with is where to draw the line between using the new APIs versus old APIs, because there are still a lot of applications which use ng-for ngif, and I don't really want to push everything to the new stuff, if that makes sense. So maybe towards the later chapters I'm going to say, all right, everything now is going to use the new syntax, but maybe not for everything. uh, uh, uh. I also want to see one more thing. So we also got the destroy ref, Angular destroy ref. Hmm. Hmm. But it's the same thing as the ng on destroy, so to say. Hmm. But I could. Okay. No, I think I would rather go with this one. But then I also don't need the double bangs as well. If the component is alive, it should be good to go. So cd ref, detaching the change detector for components. I think there's one comment on my book from the reviewer, and that is that the track by is not going to be the same. Uh, mhm. With the release of ng17, ng4 is going to lose a lot on how I think. Yeah, I'm writing that even though we have Angular 17 that now introduces the for loop, the new control flow, I think it's still a lot of companies will not be migrating to the new version. As I mean, yeah, it's not really possible to have everyone migrating to the same one, or to the updated one. So yeah, it's we still need that. Well, I'm gonna also see one more thing. Do I have any meetings today? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. So we have one on Monday. Hanfa. Mohammed Hamza Javed. Okay. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So let's go to the. I'm probably in the wrong. I'm probably in the wrong recipe at the moment, but we'll figure that out. So first, let's go to the on push chain detection strategy. What do we have here? The image is cropped off at the bottom. Should we full screen if possible? And Uh, it's Isha already. Awesome. Should we have the full screen? I'm not really sure. Should we have the full screen? Maybe yes. How to do it? So let's go and do. What is it called? The npm run serve ng on push strategy. Let's go with that. And I'm also gonna do one thing right now, and that is this one. Where are you? View one. So this one and this one is not done. Code with Ahsan plugin to version 17. This is actually done. So I'm gonna move the status to done. And let's change the view to board. I think I like this one much more. So we have replacing the header. No, not really. This one is in progress at the moment. This one is important as well. So I think this one should come first. So we need to make a list of all the things that were introduced in the new Angular version. So we know what to expect and what to update. All right, let's see. So Angular blog.angular.io, introducing Angular 17. So let's see. Dev environments in your web application. I should probably start looking into this, to be honest. But what is the pricing? StackBlitz web containers. Um, mhm. Is this open sourced? No. Web container core. Okay. Hmm. If I want to get started, then I would actually. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. I'm thinking about how I can use this for the code with Essence side, where I can actually put the code right there, and then people can actually play around with that. That would be awesome. But I do want to also look into like what is the spawn and npm install. Okay, this makes so much sense. But I do want to see like what is the pricing of this, or is it? Hmm. Hmm. A formal open source partnership or explore commercial options for your organization. Hmm. Hmm. Really interesting. Anyways, so let's focus on this guy. So the one that I was about to run was this guy. Okay. So then we should have the app running right here. And then if I have this guy right here, then I can take a picture that shows all of this information. So let's see. I'm gonna copy it like this. And where's my snap? Oh, because of this. Makes sense. So then I can copy this and then I can take this to the image and paste it right. Change picture from this device. Yes. Okay, so then I have this, but is this being cropped as well? I don't think so. Hmm. If I go out a bit, I think the code or the information would not be as visible. Like, hmm, 125, 110. I think 110 is nice, but let's go with this one. So this guy should be like this. Click this guy and Control Z. Replace this guy with change picture from this device. Take it and I would then say update it. Thank you. Thank you. The whole component tree, there's one big tree. I'm not sure. Maybe I should start with the. I'm gonna move this to the other side, and then I'm gonna move the chat to this side. Give me 1 second. Where are you? There you are. Chat, chat, chat. There you are. Take that. Make this guy right here. Cool. And then I can go to. Oh, that's not the one. Where's the chat? Oh, there you are. Maybe we can do it like bit of this and this. And then also the code can be a bit bigger as well. But then I can go to this view. And then we are good. So then I don't even need the chat restream in this case. You can put it right there. Give me my clock. Give me my clock. Put it here. Okay. So then I can look into the recipe and see what's going on. So here he says the whole component tree, there's one big tree. This means that the framework will check for the changes in the whole component tree. I agree with you, Mr. Reviewer. Here we could also be mentioned that Angular recommends using okay, so this is cool. Now I'm looking into further comments. If the parent component changes, okay. Therefore, it's easier for us to use the on-push strategy in these components because they would only show the different data when any of the input attributes from the parent components change. That I'm not really sure about now. Okay, so if I have a component and I'm changing its value in on push, let's say if I run final, okay, and I do want to run on a component which has the on push strategy implemented, and if I do that, then if I change the component's reference, would it still give me, would it still be updated? So if I go to, for example, this guy right here, and then if I go to users, okay, now what I want to do is I should have in final apps 12 ng on push strategy. Okay, is this the one I'm running? What was the command that I just ran? On push strategy, right? So if I'm having this one, and if I have an app and I have a component, and this user card has on push, right? Let's see how many files actually use that. So just that one. If I have this, and then I go ahead and say, hey, after I don't know, some time. So this should be like implements on init. So let's say I say after 3000 milliseconds, I want to change the inputs value. So I'm going to say user, but I'm going to assign something new to this. So this dot user equals this dot. I've never done it, right? But I want to see what happens. Cannot find name on init. Of course you cannot. Let's see. So inject on init, and then we have this. No, it doesn't. So in console, if I go here, I'm going to say, hey, I'm actually trying to change the component. So do console log, I don't know, user changed, chagged, changed. And then I can say this dot user. So when I do this, I should have like a 10 different console logs. User changed, right? So all of those users have been changed, but I don't see any count, color generation count. Click, nope. Well, only if the parent changes, then that would happen. So I'm gonna do the same thing now in the parent component. So if I go to the parent component and I go to the users page where we have the user card, users component in this case. And then if I go here, once you have the users, you do users is loading false, but I want to do it like a set time out, and then I can do the same thing like this dot users equals to this dot users, and users changed, right? Now if I run this, let's see what happens. So count is 1. Now we have a problem here. So what happens? User change error, trying to diff, only arrays and retrievals are allowed. Then I made a mistake because this should be an array. Now it should work. So now the users have changed. It should it still doesn't do it because it's being tracked by the ID as far as I remember. Track user or is the same set of users. Then I should do something like map return user, and then I need to say UUID is gonna be self.crypto random UUID. So if I do this, now what happens? Yeah, now you see that this changed, right? But does it also happen? And let's do it in like 1500 milliseconds. But then also I want to do the same thing in here. So ID self.crypto random UUID. This should be UUID. So see that this doesn't happen. I was like, I'm pretty sure that only the inputs change would trigger it. Mm. Mm. Completely new array now. If it is the same array, but we have only pushed, or let's say added or removed an item, change detection with on push will not be triggered. That makes much more sense. I've added a node. Thanks. Okay, so this is good. Uh, uh, uh. All right, I'm now feeling hungry, so I need to go. So I'm going to stop streaming. I'm going to most likely, I'm thinking I'll either go and make something or go out. I'll see. But I'm really hungry, so I'm going to stop the stream. Thank you everyone who joined. You're awesome. And I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye. Take care.